Wednesday project.
His story has ended, but what about yours?
I always awaken very abruptly. I don't even think I dream. I suddenly find myself walking to school. My headache worsens day by day until it finally buzzes in my head like an alarm. That day, in potent numbness, I wake up twice as fast as normal. I walk to the schoolyard. It's clear and cloudless. It's 7:30 a.m., but what season is it? When I try to recall what season it is, I start to get so dizzy I almost pass out. I may wind up back in bed if I let go and faint. For some time, I have been embracing a rush of useless information. The normal stuff you'd see at a school, like the hustle and bustle of my classmates by the entrance. It hasn't changed. It hasn't changed. When I push the thought, my field of vision fizzles. Today, there's a crowd of students milling in front of the school gate, and more are being directed that way. As to what's going on, there's a boy in a black uniform in front of the school gate. He's my friend, as I recall. He's Issei Ryudo, as I recall. I remember this from the first time. When Issei notices me looking at him, he pushes through the crowd.
Good morning. Lovely weather we're having, don't you think? Why do you look so surprised? We announced at last week's assembly that this month the student council would strictly enforce school rules.
He runs through his spiel, as if this was the first time he'd ever disclosed the information. I already know this. I know it. I already know what happens. It's happened more than once. I'm seized by a headache. I'm so dizzy. I feel like I'm being forcibly logged out of my consciousness.
First, let me check your student ID. I shouldn't need to remind you, but it should be on you at all times.
My login ID is being checked. It's so obvious now. I answer clearly to the question that usually makes me go dizzy. My name, I'm Hakuno Takeda. Can I go back? Can I change that nickname?
Great. There's no telling when an emergency might occur, and it will be a help if you have your ID.
I feel nauseous, and I know it has nothing to do with what I ate for breakfast this morning. I feel nauseous because of the world around me. It's repeating itself over and over, and that's making me sick.
Now then, uniform inspection time. Collar, check. Pant-hems, check. And your socks, check.
I want him to get out of my way. I want this repetition to stop. I push him aside and go forward. I'm not nice about it either. Out of my way!
Next is the contents of your bag. Notebooks, textbooks, pencil box. Not even a whiff of contraband. Your nails are evenly cut, and your haircut is sensible. Indeed. Quite remarkable. You're a model Sukumihara student.
He keeps on talking loudly, even though he's facing no one. I have a headache. I'm shivering. I know one thing for sure. This is wrong. This is not the school I know. It can't be. I have to go. I have to hurry and wake up, or else it will be too late. But who am I awakening for? My anxiety and headaches are only getting worse. Afternoon arrives while I desperately try to find a way to escape this bizarre situation. As is now the norm, my vision is overlaid with some kind of unnatural distortion. Uneasiness, futility, emptiness. I want someone to explain to me the true nature behind all of these feelings. There must be a key somewhere, something that will have the answers to all of my questions.
everyone? It's like a ghost town around here. Things are getting weird.
I've gotta... I don't even know what I'm looking for. Hey, that's the new kid, and who's that?
Gotta pursue him.
The moment I
letting him
step
get
foot
away.
on the first floor, my feelings of unease intensify. There is a student wearing a red uniform. Leo, the new transfer student. The instant I lay my eyes on him, I immediately feel intimidated and humiliated. There is also someone trailing behind him. It looks like one of my classmates. The more I think, the more I realize that Leo isn't the only anomaly I've come across while on campus. There are other things that seem off as well. It's becoming clearer now. There are people who shouldn't exist, students that mysteriously vanish. The fabric of reality is coming unraveled.
Don't turn away now.
What is the truth?
Don't turn away now.
What defines the world you know?
Don't turn away now.
There is a reason why you are here. Come, do not allow yourself to close your eyes to the truth.
Where did they go? I need to follow them. Leo and one of the guys from my class are talking in the hallway up ahead.
The attention to detail is quite impressive. Even the surrounding air is surprisingly substantial. If that is the case, this world is in some ways more real than the real world it represents.
More real than the real world? What is he talking about?
How about you guys? What are your thoughts on this?
You guys? For a moment, it feels as if he is including me in his comment. However, Leo begins speaking to my classmate, seemingly oblivious to my presence.
Greetings. I believe this is the first time we've had an actual conversation.
Leo gives me a smile with no hostility. However, I have the suspicion that there is something malicious behind his smile.
Attending school wasn't half bad. I've never had the opportunity to go to one before now. In that respect, this has been quite an interesting experience. However, the time for fun has come to an end. I did not come here to play at being a student. No matter how enjoyable the detour, eventually, one must return to their appointed path. And for me, the time to do so has arrived.
With those final words, Leo turns his back on me.
Farewell. No, that's not quite right. I don't think farewell will be accurate in this situation. For reasons I cannot explain, I have the distinct feeling that we will see each other again. So I guess I should use the more congenial, see you later. Well, it's time for me to move on. I wish you the best of luck.
What is he... Leo said as much, even going so far as to look in my direction. For some inexplicable reason, I'm not surprised that Leo knew I was spying on him. I'm trying to get things straightened out in my mind when Leo suddenly disappears. And there goes my other classmate. The student who was following him also disappears after touching the same spot on the wall. At the same moment he vanishes, my vision distorts and the shock threatens to overwhelm me. What is going on here? I wonder if this place is the source of my unease. Well, when in Rome, do what the Romans do, I guess. Like him, I place my hand on the wall, expecting to be drawn in. I see now that the way to the truth, to why I have these feelings, begins right here. I want to know. The atmosphere changes. There's a doorway, an entrance, where the concrete wall used to be. It's not something of this world. There's no doubt this door leads to some place unfathomable. I bid farewell to the false world and take my first step toward the truth. What is this place? What is that? An entrance to another world. Beyond this door, the previous statement perfectly describes the view before me. Walking behind me is my strange, silent attendant. It is to be my
That
sword
effigy
and
with
shield
you
for
is
what
your
lies
sword
ahead.
and shield for
A
what
disembodied
lies
voice suddenly confirms my thoughts. Although I have yet to learn anything, I need to do something besides stand here. At the very least, there might be some clues to this bizarre experience up ahead. I have no choice but to head into the darkness, with only this strange doll as protection. Only one way to go. Forward. Okay, this is not what I expected. Where am I? Right, just gotta keep moving forward. Okay, I can't even walk in a straight line. This is, just keep moving forward. I made it. At the end of a very long road, after going through a door that suddenly appeared in the wall. The oppressive air of this place, where the spirits of the dead still linger. Here's my goal. That's what I thought. Further in, it appears as if someone had collapsed. When I look into his face, it's the student who was following Leo just now. I call out to him, but get no reply. I shake him in an attempt to wake him up when I notice he's stone cold. I go as pale as the corpse before me, and I can no longer think coherently. All I can do is stare in bewilderment. It is at this moment. The fallen effigy lying next to the male student comes to its feet with a clatter. Alright, this is happening. Go! Attack! Block! Or something! Oh... Not good.
You seem to be lacking as well.
I can hear the sound of a distant voice.
The time has come. With your inevitable loss, I will consider this round of preliminaries to be over. Farewell. I pray you'll find peace in your annihilation.
That is the voice's final words to me. I don't have the power to protest. All I can do is stare at the floor. I think I'm going to die here. Suddenly, at the edge of my now hazy vision, a number of brown-colored lumps seem to rise from the ground. Actually, it might be that I just noticed them now. They may have been there from the beginning for all I know. Those lumps are the bodies of an untold number of fallen Sukumihara Academy students. The guy before me wasn't the only one to fall. All of the others made it here and died, unable to do anything. And in a very short while, I suppose I'll become one of them. Maybe I should just close my eyes now. I did all that I could, so maybe it'd be better for it to end now. But no, I refuse to give up. I refuse to give up. I summon all of my strength in an attempt to get back on my feet. However, as I try to move, an unbearably intense pain shoots through my entire body. If that's how it's going to be... No, if this is... No, I still refuse to give up. I don't want it to end like this. I cannot ignore the intense pain coursing through my body. I've reached a point where I no longer see stars as my eyes feel like they're on fire. I feel like all 5 of my senses are being ripped from my body. I'm afraid. I'm afraid of the pain. I'm afraid of losing my senses. I'm afraid of becoming a corpse. And the most terrifying thing, disappearing without a trace for any reason at all. It's not right that I disappear here. My consciousness, shot through with waves of distortion, screams out against the injustice of it all. What was the purpose of suffering through those headaches just to fade away here and now? What were they all for if I just fade away here and now? I have to stand up. It's okay if I'm scared. It's okay if I'm in pain. I have to rise above all of that. Because I have yet to fight of my own volition and on my own terms.
Well spoken, nameless traveler. Indeed, you must embrace your fear of death and fight on, regardless what fate may await you. Even if the world will never hear of your desire, know that I admire and respect it. Close your hands into fists and raise your head. Your end has yet to come. In fact, your destiny begins now.
The sound of breaking glass is accompanied by a light cutting through the gloom. I manage to move my weary body and aching head to see what's happening. I didn't notice it before, but something was slowly rising up from the floor in the middle of the room. That form. It's a woman in red. She's not wearing pants. Its appearance isn't much different from that of a human being, but something was different. Clearly so. The power emanating from it transcended that of any human, or of any enemy I faced in getting here. An awesome power that seems as if it'd vaporize anyone it touched, swirls within my body, almost against my will.
Now then, I shall ask you once more. Answer me. Are you my master?
Master? Yes.
Your words are few, but beautiful. I like that. I won't ask you how privileged you feel for summoning me. All right? I give my blessing. I will bestow upon you the honor of being my master.
The honor of being your master? What? She takes a hold of my hand and helps me to my feet. From the hand she had grabbed comes a sudden warmth, and then a sharp pain, like I've been cut by a knife. On the back of my hand, as though tattooed, is a strange symbol that looks like some kind of crest. Totally confused, I alternate between staring at the mark on my hand and the person standing before me. And then... a noise behind me brings me back to my senses. Turning around, I see that the effigy from before is still there, now in a fighting stance. I wince uncontrollably, recalling my previous defeat at its hands.
What an excitable master I have. Why are you so flustered?
Flustered?
While I am by your side, have no fear that you may lose your way. Remember that victory is all that matters. My blade is the ultimate instrument. Even the muses themselves would bow before the sound it makes. Master, strike with my sword. Show me the extent of your abilities in this first battle.
All right, go. Kick its ass. Hell yeah. Who says you need pants to fight things? That was amazing! The battered effigy stops moving. There's no way it'll still function after being effectively torn apart.
That wasn't entertaining at all. Considering how long I've waited for such a moment, I am truly unsatisfied.
She continues to talk. However, the sound of her voice doesn't quite reach my ears. The heat coming from the mark on my hand grew in intensity during the fight, and the resulting pain has become unbearable and burns through my consciousness.
The mark imprinted on your hand is your command seal. It is proof that you hold dominion over a servant. You can use it to give 3 orders that must be obeyed. Think of them as disposable strengthening spells. It is also proof of your participation in the Holy Grail War. If you lose it for some reason, you will die.
Once again, I hear that voice. I somehow manage to ignore the pain and listen to what it has to say.
I can understand your confusion, but before I forget, congratulations! You have endured much to make it here. Now rest for a while. You've achieved your first goal. It was an incredibly clumsy effort to say the least,
Hey,
but that's what made it all the more entertaining. I have had this duty for a long time, but this is the first time I have seen a master as helpless as you. Nevertheless, be proud of your achievement. Your quick thinking came as a result of nerves and rashness.
Thinking about it, the voice sounds like that of a 30-year-old man, and it's really irritatingly smug.
Oh, you are curious about my identity? I am honored, but I am insignificant. I am merely a part of this system. I am just a guide, tasked with giving a standard message and given the personality of a prior participant. I am no more than words. No more than the mountain you just conquered. No more than a record of the past.
A record? So if I raise any objections to this voice, does it mean I won't receive any answers in return?
Exactly. Well, this is unexpected. You've received a commendation. Something about you having a light.
Having a light? I have no clue who would say such a thing about me. But that short phrase struck my heart because, for some unknown reason, I knew the words were sincere. And as for "I expect good things from you," it seemed like more of a command than an encouragement.
Now, let us commence your baptism. You have proven yourself worthy of the honor. For most, the monotony of everyday life continues on without end. Your decision to look beyond the accepted and progress means you have earned the right to exist. However, you have but taken the first step. Be jubilant, young knight, for the Holy Grail War begins now.
I have no idea what he's talking about. The Holy Grail War? The right to exist?
That is correct. An object of great power once existed in the world. One that could grant any desire. People called it the Holy Grail, and fought endlessly in an attempt to gain sole possession of it. This war, the system you find yourself in now, is an evolution of those struggles. You stand at the entrance of a deadly struggle, where many Magi will perish in pursuit of the Holy Grail. Listen, Magi. Had I not bestowed upon the earth desire, you'd be merely saints capable of committing sin. Now, fight to the death. The fiery throne of heaven will only receive those with the strongest of desires.
The voice reverberates throughout this hidden chapel, as if it were the voice of a god. Kill? Magi? A holy grail that grants wishes? These questions, and more, swirl inside my head and almost seem to carve themselves into my flesh.
In war, a weapon is needed. That is your servant. They are the spear that pierces, the shield that protects. A legendary soul whose purpose is to clear your way to the Grail. That is the one who stands beside you.
I glance over at the young woman in red standing next to me, who was looking up into the sky. She is my servant.
It seems you have decided, and with that decision as payment, I now open the gates to the Holy Grail War.
The marks on my hand, my command seal, once again begin to become excruciatingly painful. It's over. I can't take it anymore. I reach the limits of my endurance, and my mind starts to shut down. As I lose consciousness, I can vaguely hear the voice's final words.
Now, let the Holy Grail War begin. No matter the era, deciding who is worthy through battle is the divine providence of man. Magi who have been invited here by the moon, show me your true strength.
I shake him in an attempt to wake him up when I notice he's stone cold.
Let's go! Project!